really an honor to be one of the former Hall of Famers in the first class, and it's going to be a privilege to welcome new people into the Hall of Fame. But before we start on that, I would like, and I want you all to please stand up. Anyone who is here who has been a member of the Hall of Fame in the last 5 years, stand up, please. Come on, stand up. Stay standing, stay standing. Because I want to pick up on what Marty said. You are Hall of Famers, and that means you've done a lot during your time at the college and probably afterwards for the college. So the next best thing you can do is to join Quad A. And thanks, Ben. We have some who are already members, but we really need more so we can make the athletic program grow. We want to work with the coaches as well as the students and the alums. Thank you very much. And the fact that we are all here tonight, I think the credit goes to our former athletic director, Shirley Little, our vice president for development, Jan Wahlberg, one of our alumni officers, Georgine Pilling, who's here way back while I was still coaching here. I think they wanted to have a Hall of Fame, and it took many years and lots of perseverance on the part of the three of them and several others to have it. So it didn't come easily. There was some resistance, and look at it. Every year it's grown. This is the idea was meant to be. So thank you, people. My last year coaching here was Shirley Little's first year as athletic director. And people are going to say a lot of things probably about her, but I just appreciate what she did for me in the first year that she was here. She came from upstate New York. She didn't really know the Philadelphia area. One of my complaints as a tennis coach back then was we had two courts, which is where the parking lot is now. The softball field and hockey field were also there. It's a parking lot. Only two courts. I had at least 15 to 20 kids out for both the men's and women's tennis teams trying to practice on two courts. If we played matches, we played doubles on the courts here, and we went over to Cheltenham High School to play singles, so nobody ever got to watch one another. And I mentioned this, how nice it would be if we had courts. Shirley, not even knowing the area, by the time the fall season came around, had checked with Chestnut Hill College, having the men practice in the spring, because the women weren't playing then, and the men practiced over there, and we played our matches there, and LaSalle High School was our place for the women to play. But we could play all at one time, and we could practice on the courts that we were going to have our matches. And this is something she did in her very first year. She also became, I'm not quite sure, you'll probably hear about this later, but I know she added a lot of prestige to the college because she became the head of the PAC committee within the first couple of years that she was athletic director, which brought a lot of prestige to, it was Beaver at the time. I could say a lot more about Shirley, but I'll say it to her later. Also, probably I was asked to speak because, as you can see, I've been around Beaver, Arcadia a long time. I came on campus in '56, I think, as a student, and then coached here till '94. So I have lots of stories that I could tell. And so I want to speak about Mrs. Emily McKinnon, Dr. McKinnon, who's no longer with us, but she was the head of the physical education department, and I was a phys ed major. So, and my class of 60 was the largest class I ever had. We had 11 majors. So she got to know us, and we got to know her, and she was fantastic. And when we went out to apply for jobs after graduating, we said that we graduated from Beaver, the doors were open. And we had no problem getting jobs, and a lot of this had to do with the prestige that Dr. McKinnon, Mrs. Mack, as we called her, led to the college. But a fun thing that I doubt any of you remember, Betty King might, and back in my day, We had two campuses, the Jenkintown campus and the campus here, which only had Thomas Hall as a dorm besides the castle. So most of the activities were over on the Jenkintown campus, which is Beaver Hill Apartments now. And it was an old campus. So in the spring, one day, and I look forward to this, classes were canceled, and we had what was called cleanup day. And we cleaned up the campus. All the resident students, the faculty, the staff, the administration worked together, raking, gardening, planting, painting, waxing, all morning, with the enticement that we were going to have a picnic lunch, and then we were going to have a faculty-student softball game. Mrs. Mack, when she decided to pitch, the faculty always won. So we were very happy sometimes when the former president at the time, Dr. Kissler, would pitch, because then we could hit some of the pitches that he had, but we couldn't handle Mrs. Mack's pitches. So a little aside that probably all of you didn't know about Mrs. Mack. And another person who is not here is Carol Jones, and I know a lot of people are here representing her. Her health prevents her from being here. I didn't know her on campus, but she was a senior at Ambler High School, which is Wissahickon High now, when I student taught there. And she soon became my very favorite student. I realized she was one of the top athletes of the school, a leader of the whole school. I was talking Beaver to her, and so when I heard she was coming here, I thought, boy, is Beaver lucky to have her. So a little aside. A couple more people that they don't know it, but when I was coaching tennis, I would take time out to watch and softball and goalie and hockey and Tom and basketball. And so I kind of know them too. So you can see I span the whole generation, except for you youngins in the 04 class. I don't know you. But, so it's a privilege to be here. Enjoy your night.